Good morning. Welcome to the Pennington County Planning Commission meeting of March 10th, 2025. I was going to say glad to have you here, but we don't have a ton here today. Recommendations of the Planning Commission on certain items from this agenda will be considered by the Board of Commissioners at the regular meeting on March 18th, 2025 at 10:30 a.m. The Planning Commission utilizes speaker request forms which are available at the Commission chambers during the meeting. And we have one person in here now, and they've given us one of these, so we're ready to go. So let's do the roll call.
Charlie?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Is Lori on Zoom?
Yes.
Yes, Lori's on.
Oh, she is. Okay,
Mike?
here.
Kevin?
Here. Okay, next up will be approval of the February 24th, 2025 minutes. I assume everybody's had time to look at them, and if so, I'd entertain a motion to approve them.
So
moved.
Second.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. We approve the minutes of February 24th, 2025. Any further discussion? Audience? Commission? There being none, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carried. Approval of the agenda is next.
Move to approve.
Second. It's been moved and seconded that we approve the agenda for today. Any further discussion by the audience, staff, the commission? There being none, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carried. Consent agenda.
Good morning, Commissioners. Brittany Molitor, Planning Director. The following items have been placed on the consent agenda for action to be taken on all items in accordance with staff's recommendation by a single vote. Any item may be removed from the consent agenda by any Planning Commissioner, staff member, or audience member for separate consideration. The findings of this Planning Commission on certain items from this agenda are recommendations to the Pennington County Board of Commissioners, who will make the final decision. Item number 4 is conditional use permit review CUR 9842 for Prairie Acres North LLC, and it's to review a mobile home park in a suburban residential district, and staff recommends approval of conditional use permit review CUR 9842 with conditions. Item number 5 is conditional use permit review CUR 9947 for Donald Hauk to review a double-wide manufactured home as a caregiver's residence in a rural residential district, and staff recommends approval of conditional use permit review CUR 9947 with conditions. Item number 6 is conditional use permit review CUR 1824 for Plainsview Mobile Manor to review a mobile home park in a suburban residential district, and staff recommends to continue conditional use permit review CUR 1824 to the April 28th, 2025 Planning Commission meeting to allow the property owner time to submit the required elevation certificates for all mobile homes installed since 2017. Item number 7 is conditional use permit review CUR 2162 for Michael and Megan Meyer to review a vacation home rental in an agriculture district, and staff recommends approval of conditional use permit review CUR 2162 with conditions. Item number 8 is conditional use permit review CUR 2108 for Sean and Jennifer Mendel, Sim Properties LLC, to review a vacation home rental in a suburban residential district, and staff recommends to end conditional use permit review CUR 2108 as the property was sold. Item number 9 is conditional use permit review CUR 2333 for Wolfpack Holdings LLC, Dennis Casey, to review a multifamily modular home in a rural residential district, and staff recommends approval of conditional use permit review CUR 2333 with conditions. Item number 10 is conditional use permit review CUR 2334 for Benjamin and Catherine Lee to review an accessory dwelling unit in a rural residential district, and staff recommends approval of conditional use permit review CUR 2334 with conditions. Item number 11 is conditional use permit review COCUR 24-0004 for Brooks Jonathan to review living in an existing single-wide mobile home while building a residence in an agriculture district, and staff recommends approval of conditional use permit review COCUR 24-0004 with conditions. And finally, item 12 is conditional use permit review COCUR 24-0020 for Pamela Phillips and Wayne Goldsberry, to review a caregiver's residence in a suburban residential district, and staff recommends approval of conditional use permit review COCUR 24-0020 with conditions.
Thank you. For those of you not familiar with a consent agenda, it's a way to bundle a bunch of agendas together and vote on them at one time. If anybody would like to discuss one of these separately, we do what we call pull it out and discuss it separately. So anybody in the audience would like anything pulled from these 4 through 12 agendas? Staff? Commissioners? Wow. Since it looks like it's a go, I would entertain a motion to accept the consent agenda, which would be items 4 through 12.
Come on.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we accept the consent agenda for items 4 through 12. Any further discussion, audience? Commissioners? There being none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carried. On to number 13, Cody.
Cody Sack, Senior Planner. Item 13 is vacation of plat COVP 25-0001. It's to vacate notes on the plat for Lot 2, Block 2 of Mountain Meadow subdivision. The applicant and landowner is James Larson. Currently, the lot's vacant, zone planning and development district. There is no special flood hazard area, and access is off Abigail Drive. So the planning commission has seen this 7 times before. So a little history though. Back when Mountain Meadows was platted, they were gonna do it in phases. They platted these, I think there's 14 lots currently existing. They put these notes on the plat to meet our subdivision regulation requirements for septic and fire suppression. So after the 65th building permit, they were required to post surety, and then after like the 85th building permit, they were required to increase the water storage with that surety. That development stopped at 14 lots. We've since hit that building permit number, so in order for them to build on the property, they have to go through some subdivision regulation variances and this vacating of the plat notes. So staff's recommendation is to approve vacation of plat COVP 25-001 with 2 conditions, and staff's recommendation is consistent with what has been vacated on those 7 previous requests as well.
Mr. Chair,
Charlie.
I'm always picking on you for little details. I gotta compliment you, Cody. Thank you for updating us on how many of these have gone through. I note that your 1C has 7 of 11 of these, and we had expected some more, but I appreciate your updating us on that. Thank you.
Yep.
Any other comments to Cody? Anybody in the audience have any comments on this, like to speak on it? There
Mr.
being
Chair,
none,
move to approve with 2 conditions.
Second. It's been moved and seconded that we approve COVP 25-0001 with 2 conditions. Any further discussion? The audience, staff, commissioners? There being none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. And we are on to executive session. Number 14, zip. County Board Report, 15.
The Board of Commissioners concurred with the Planning Commission's recommendations from the February 24th, 2025 Planning Commission meeting.
Items from the public, number 16, Lori, we've got your request here, so have at it.
Well, I live at 4134 Sweetbriar, and currently they are putting in a road next to my house. And I'm coming to you guys for some help. We live within the 1 mile area of the city. The road that they're putting in is only 55 feet, and there was a condition when this plan was approved that it needed to be 68. So I'm not sure what my next move is. I'm sorry. This is my first time speaking.
Planning
so-
Commission.
The only hesitation I have is for starters, there's a lot of things that qualify street construction? In other words, what's the route designated as in comprehensive? What are they building it to? That would be my immediate question before I'd want to venture
Okay.
out too far. Lori, do you know any of those things?
So the meeting was, the original meeting number was 21 PL 156. And the recommendation from the staff at the time was that it needed to be changed to a 68-foot wide right-of-way. It's a collector road,
Okay, that's
4134 Sweetbriar.
to collective. First off, Mr. Chair, and I apologize, I'm not sure, a lot of questions are in order. Usually, items from the public are limited on the questions. You make the determination of where the item goes after that. I apologize for asking a question there, but
Well, the biggest thing on this is the planning commission has a better handle on what she's speaking of than we do.
you mean the city planning committee?
Yeah.
I have called the city, I have called the county, I have called everyone, and so I called the county first, because we are county,
Right.
and they told me, well, that's the 1 mile radius of the city. I went to the city, and the city told me, nope, that's the county.
So I can give kind of a little backstory. I do know a little bit
Thank
about
you.
this one. It is within the 3-mile plating jurisdiction. So the subdivision regulations that would require those road improvements are within the city's requirements. So any exceptions or anything like that to those requirements would have been done through the city and the city council, not our planning commission or our board.
Okay.
But I would recommend to come to the Board of Commissioners under items from the public and also speak to them
Okay.
about the concerns that you have with that.
Well, I just have a concern because I know that the original plat map only showed that road being 55, and they're wanting to make that connection a collector road, which requires the 63 or 66 or 68, depending on which ones you look at, which regulations you look at. So that's my concern, and I'm just looking for help.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
It's our job to certainly direct Lori to the
Right.
the correct avenue, and I would suggest that we follow the directions from the planning director and ask that your next stop, and we hate to do this to you, would be the County Board of Commissioners, because they can make a direct ply or a request of the city thinking, can't they, if they so choose?
I do think it would be good for them to know your concerns.
Okay.
So I do
Start
think
from
that.
there.
Yes, and what their abilities are as far as, working with their council and their mayor would be up to them, but I would talk to the Board of Commissioners about your concerns in the 3-mile.
Okay.
That would be my
Yeah.
direction too, then.
Right.
I think that's the direction we should follow, and that's really about all we're allowed to do.
Yeah, and I guess the other thing I would say is if for some reason you don't get any satisfaction, things don't work out, you're going to have to come back and we're going to have to do some more looking. But at this point, I would say the commissioners would be the way to go.
Yeah,
Let's
they're
just see what
starting on the
happens.
road work today, so.
But we are here if for some reason this doesn't work, so,
Okay,
yeah. Thank you for coming in.
thank you.
Mr. Chair, can I ask Brittany another question?
You bet.
Brittany? My question is, this is somewhat embarrassing, that the city says it's not our jurisdiction, the county says it's not, then you say it's a city. Is there something we can do to make this easier for people?
We have been, Joe and I have been working on some of these concerns. We do attend the city development review team meetings. Our office does. We'll definitely bring this concern to their attention those are the only things like where staff actually has any kind of, we can bring it to their staff. But if there are issues with a 3-mile like this, with the concerns of it going back and forth, I do think it's important for the Board of Commissioners to be aware of the concerns that the citizen has.
Thank
It's been
you.
about a year that I've been fighting and trying to get a hold of somebody, so.
Mr. Chair, just for the knowledge, and Karen's probably receiving, the chairman usually does get an invite from the city for a lot of the joint things, the chairman of the planning commission. I used to get it all the time, once a month on an email. They emailed me their,
And I do believe one of the commissioners is going to attend the meeting this Wednesday, so.
okay,
Oh, yeah, well, that would help. Yeah. Okay. All right, thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
Let's see, items from the staff. Building permit report.
Good morning, Commissioners, again. It looks like we're basically on track for the number of permits. It did slow down a little bit due to the weather, but we are back on track with some of the building permits in Murphy Ranch and Apple Valley. So we'll see a pretty big uptick in March and April for those permits. So,
Any questions for Brittany? Thank you. Items from the membership. Anything, guys, gals? I would entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded that we adjourn. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 We are done. Thank you.
16 minutes, excellent.
Is that what it was? Yeah.